Congratulations to the Office of the Parliamentary Ombudsman of Malta. 30 years is a huge milestone. I dearly wish that I could be with you there in person, but sadly a strike at Brussels Airport has prevented me from travelling, and I'm delighted that I can at least speak with you through this video address. This brief intervention will look at the role of the Ombuds institution in protecting the rights of the vulnerable. And I know that I am not alone in stating what a vital actor Ombuds institutions across the world are in protecting those in a vulnerable situation. Through Ombuds complaints handling, investigations, and many other functions, they truly are indispensable in our overall democratic infrastructure. Now, traditionally, the Ombuds institutions work on maladministration. However, they are increasingly seen as human rights bodies. Now, this might be due to a broader mandate, such as being designated also as the National Human Rights Institution. It might also be that a traditional Ombuds institution applies its work with a human rights-based approach. And finally, under the EU Charter for Fundamental Rights, it could also be that the Ombuds institution is working with the fundamental right to good administration within the scope of EU law. Whichever of these, we know that Ombuds institutions do support and protect the rights of those in a vulnerable situation. Now, I'd like to consider beyond that the broader national infrastructure for human rights protection and the fact that there are also other national bodies working on human rights alongside the Ombuds mandate. Now, first of all, we can consider the National Human Rights Institution, or ENNHRI. A National Human Rights Institution is different to an Ombuds institution mandate insofar as it has a very broad human rights mandate, looking at all human rights across all of the conventions, internationally and regionally. Further, they have very broad functions to both promote and protect human rights. And this means that while they may not always have complaints handling functions, they do always monitor the human rights situation in the given state. They report to international and regional mechanisms. They promote human rights, and this mandate helps to raise awareness and create a true culture of rights. And finally, they must work closely with civil society. Now, we have other national mandates that we can see that might be in the same institution or in a separate institution with cooperation between them. For example, we have the Equality Body mandate working under the EU Equality Directives. Beyond that, specific mandates exist in relation to the rights of persons with disabilities, unauthorised access and monitoring of places of detention under OPCAT. We also have mandates looking at anti-trafficking, looking at forced returns, looking at SLAPs, whistleblowers. There are many. The most recently recognised in Europe are those coming from EU legislation, looking at compliance with the EU Charter in relation to EU structural funds, in relation to human rights at borders under the screening regulation, and also under the EU AI Act, where NHRIs or Ombuds or equality bodies might, or all three in fact, might be designated as protection bodies. Now, each of these national mandates, of course, work with human rights. Each of them is distinct, but they are very much complementary, and it's important that there is effective integration or cooperation so that they work together in a more seamless, coherent, and comprehensive human rights protection architecture for the state and, most importantly, for individuals within it. Now, one mandate, a national mandate that Malta does not have in law is that of the National Human Rights Institution. Now, this sadly goes against international commitments it has been called for by the UN, the Council of Europe, and the EU. NHRIs have been recognised as essential parts of the checks and balances, as filling the protection gap between the state and the individual, as being a safeguard for rule of law, and also for supporting civil society space. Now, in these difficult times that we are facing, it is particularly important that an NHRI is established in law by Malta. This not only will fulfil the international commitments, but it will also end the situation where it is one of only 3 EU member states that has not completed this final step. So ENNHRI stands ready to support Malta in the establishment of an NHRI in law. And until then, I would like to send yet again my hearty congratulations to the Ombudsman of Malta, to all those who are working in his team, and to all those who have worked there over the last 30 years. Wishing you all the best in your celebrations and looking forward to working with you across the decades to come. Thank you.